You cannot deny that the big game, the Super Bowl, is the largest pop culture moment in all the world. And as my good friend Sergeant Paul Tapau with the Guam Police Department will attest, it is also one of the diciest times to protect public safety. Sarge, I know you've said to me many times on and off camera that probably the Super Bowl is right up there with New Year's Eve in terms of the number of people who are going to celebrate, the number of people who are going to congregate, and the number of things that could potentially go wrong.
It's really, yeah, you're right. You know, you are absolutely correct about it being dicey and comparable to that of New Year's Eve and the way, you know, our adults celebrate the festivities. And, you know, what makes it intriguing is that, and makes it challenging for us is that it's on a weekday. And, you know, for some reason, people have the, you know, they have the ability to have off, you know, they're fortunate enough to be off on that day.
And so, for us, it's mid-morning, which makes it even stranger.
It is. And, you know, seeing the after effects, you know, working at Highway Patrol, we've done roving DUI enforcements. We've done, we set up, you know, speed enforcement. It's, you know, along the main thoroughfares, and you wouldn't believe in the numbers of, you know, number of vehicles that were actually pulled in, and we had somebody behind the wheel who was impaired, coming from a Super Bowl celebration. So I think it's really important that we take this opportunity for the crime segment to really ask the community to plan accordingly when you're celebrating, or should you, you know, choose to celebrate Super Bowl Monday, because it is comparable to that of New Year's Eve, and you can only imagine that school buses will be out. The kids, by the time the game concludes, you are going to have buses that are going to be dropping kids to and from. So, you know, this is a time where we have to be mature adults, and really the message I want to drive home is designate a responsible, sober driver.
Now, what should people do, you know, because a lot of people, especially if they're a fan of the Chiefs, or if they're from Kansas City or Missouri or Kansas, or if they're from the Bay Area and they're cheering for the Niners, they're going to want to celebrate. They're really going to want to get into the game, a lot of which is probably going to involve, you know, consuming adult beverages, right? If they do party a little bit too hard, should they just go, like, you know, chill out, stay at, you know, whatever establishment? If you're at a hotel party, stay at the hotel. If you're at a restaurant or a bar, just hang out there for at least, you know, drink a whole bunch of water and try and, you know, mellow up. But like you said,
it's not going to work. Drinking the water and waiting, you know, time is part of the factor of.
So there is no leeway on this. Get a designated driver. That's the only thing.
You know, the message again is
Understood.
really getting a responsible, sober driver, and it's that time where we as mature adults, we have to own up to our responsibility. If you're going to afford the time where you're going to take off to celebrate your team into victory, and of course, you know, I'm for one too. I'm a big football fanatic, but, you know, nonetheless, you know, I plan accordingly, and I would assure myself that if I have the luxury of being off that day, then I'm going to celebrate, you know, with a responsible, sober driver, or maybe not even consume or indulge in any alcohol beverages, because the day, you know, when the game concludes, we're looking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You have commuters who are picking up kids. You have commuters who will be getting off work. So that's when we're going to see an influx in traffic.
There's post office, people delivering the mail. That's a really busy, dicey time on the island.
It is, and it gets challenging for us as you know, as when I'm speaking as a former highway patrol investigator, because we're seeing the influx of the roads, you know, cars in the roads at one time, and of course, you know, people are trying to get to and from, because. And here's the thing is that I've actually arrested an individual that was rushing to go pick up the child from school, and this guy was really, really intoxicated. And
that's crazy.
You know, it's just a grim reminder that, you know, you're taking a chance, not just yourself but the safety of others. You're driving on the road where you're speeding, and then you're going to go pick up your child from school, and at that level, you know, I mean, come on, you got to be a sense of responsibility that has to be a part with your planning and how you're going to celebrate this day.
Now, I want to paraphrase something you told me last year when we were talking about the Super Bowl. Is, you know, you may say, okay, I'm a fan of the Chiefs and they haven't been to the big dance in 50 years. You know, it's a really big chance for us to celebrate. I'm a Niners fan. This is a chance for us to get ring number 6. So, you know, I want to party. And you can say that, and all of your fans can say that, and, you know, your friends online, you can interact with everybody on Twitter. You know who's not going to care about that? The arresting officer and the judge.
Or the life, you know, I mean, it's you're spot on. You know, that's spot on.
The judge isn't going to care if you're the most hardcore Chiefs fan in the world. They're going to say you were intoxicated in the middle of the afternoon and you endangered your fellow Guamanians.
Absolutely, and you know, as from a law enforcement perspective, you know, it really shows the selfish, you know, that individual being selfish, only wanting and thinking of themselves. And really, the selfless act that you can do is really designating a responsible sober driver. And, regardless of who wins or the team that you're rooting for, this is a time where, I want to stress this. This is a time where, comparable to New Year's Eve, where we are going to see, a whole lot of people celebrating. And, this is where we have to come together as Guamanians and understand doing the right thing and making the right decisions. It really boils down to us being mature adults and having that sense of responsibility by simply designating a sober driver.
Now, to further deter people from making accidentally bad choices, should we expect to see a larger police presence, like throughout the places where you have a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of?
We're going to be out. Our officers from the Highway Patrol Division, we're going to be making the announcement that we're going to be doing DUI checkpoints throughout the month of February. And, we did send a notice of announcement out to the community via our media partners, of the DUI checkpoints that are expected to. So, this, it doesn't really have to be a DWI sobriety checkpoint. It can be a roving DWI initiative that our officers are going to be doing, because that's one of the things that we're going to be looking out for is the safety of all commuters who utilize our roadways. And, we need to make that decision. If you're going to choose to root your team and celebrate, celebrate the right way and designate a responsible sober driver.
And that's what it's all about. So before we go, can I get a prediction from you? Because of course your beloved, the Steelers are not in the big game this year. But who you got?
I got to protect. Much respect to the Patriots. They touched 6. They got 1 for the thumb, and it really is. I'm not emotionally attached to this, but I try not to have that many teams, within the respective crowd that has the ring for the other thumb. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and I think if Mahomes can actually pull this out, I think it'll be great for the Chiefs. They haven't won anything in the last 50 years. And, big respect to San Francisco for the defense. And I'm looking at a 3-point difference between the Chiefs and 49ers. And I'm looking at the Chiefs just doing something special in this day.
Well, next week I'm either going to shake your hand or we're both going to be laughing at each other. So we'll see.
Hey,
but the one thing that is undisputed is you remain steadfast to your mission to make sure that Guam is protected.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm not emotionally attached to this game, but I am emotionally attached to the safety and the messages that we bring out. So,
Outstanding.
Good luck to everybody. Good luck to the Steelers. Good luck to the San Francisco 49ers fans, and of course the Kansas City Chiefs fans. And may the best team prevail. But collectively, as an island, we can prevail. Should we designate? When we designate a responsible sober driver.
All right. Thanks so much, Sarge. He can never put down the terrible towel, this guy, and everything. All right. So please stay tuned. We're back after this.